What if I told you that you can visit today the same place where Jesus spoke with the Samaritan woman more than 2,000 years ago? It seems impossible, doesn't it? We grow up hearing these biblical stories and often think they are just ancient, distant, almost intangible accounts. But what if I prove to you that Jacob's Well is not just a parable, not just a symbolic narrative, but a real place that you can touch, feel, and even drink its water from? Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover will completely change the way you see the scriptures. We're talking about one of the most sacred and mysterious places in the world, a well that has endured millennia, survived wars, earthquakes, invasions, and destruction, and is still there, guarding secrets in its depths that will leave you breathless. Have you ever stopped to think what it would be like to be exactly where Jesus first clearly revealed that he was the Messiah? Imagine the thrill of descending stone steps, worn by time, feeling the cold, damp air of an ancient crypt, and finally arriving before that well dug 4,000 years ago by the hands of the patriarch Jacob. I'm not talking about a replica. I'm not talking about a symbolic memorial. I'm talking about the original well. And here's the part that few people know. This place hides something in its depths that defies even modern science, something that archaeologists, historians, and pilgrims from all over the world are still trying to fully understand. Jacob's Well is not just a hole in the ground. It's a window to the past, a living connection between us and the most transformative events in human history. Have you ever had that moment when you read the Bible and think, did that really happen? Did those places really exist? I completely understand that doubt, and that's exactly why this video exists. Because when we discover that we can literally walk where Jesus walked, touch what he touched, our faith takes on a completely new dimension. What seemed distant becomes close. What seemed impossible reveals itself to be real. And what's most impressive is that this sacred place remains alive, functioning, fulfilling the same purpose as always, quenching thirst. But I'm not just talking about physical thirst. I'm talking about that deep spiritual thirst that we all carry, and that can only be quenched by something eternal, something that doesn't dry up, something that doesn't pass away. Get ready, because in the following lines you'll discover exactly where this ancient well is located, what's hidden in its impressive depths, and why thousands of people around the world make risky pilgrimages to this remote place. What you're about to discover may surprise you in ways you never imagined. Before I show you what truly lies in the depths of this ancient well, please leave a like below. It may seem like a small gesture, but it greatly helps the video reach other people who are also looking for quality content. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and activate the notification bell, because every week I bring incredible stories like this one, real biblical places, mysteries of faith that will open your mind and touch your heart. Your presence here strengthens this community and allows more videos like this to reach you. Now let's get to what you've been eagerly waiting for. It's time to discover exactly where this sacred well is located today, who takes care of it, and why it remains one of the most exciting pilgrimage destinations in the entire world. Let's go back in time a little, because before I show you where that well is today, you need to understand the weight of this story. We know the account. It's in John chapter 4, but when you look at the details, when you see the cultural context, this conversation between Jesus and the Samaritan woman becomes something revolutionary, almost explosive for that time. Imagine the scene. Midday, scorching sun, Jesus, tired from a long walk, decides to stop precisely at that well. And then a woman appears alone at the hottest time of day. There's already something strange about that, because women usually went to fetch water early in the morning or late in the afternoon in groups, but she was there alone, avoiding stairs, carrying a heavy reputation. And then the unthinkable happens. Jesus asks her for water. Can you feel the tension of that moment? Jews didn't speak to Samaritans. Men didn't converse with unknown women in public. And Jesus, a respected rabbi, breaks both rules at once. He initiates a dialogue that will change that woman's life forever. And look at the genius of his approach. He begins by talking about ordinary water, the kind that quenches physical thirst, and gradually reveals a much greater hidden truth, a profound transformation she didn't even know she needed. He speaks of living water, springing up to eternal life that will never leave anyone thirsty again. But the most chilling moment comes when Jesus reveals intimate details of her life, things that no one there could know. 5 husbands, and the man she lived with wasn't her husband. It wasn't judgment, it was revelation. It was as if he were saying, "I know you completely, and yet I'm here talking to you." And it is in this encounter, in this frank dialogue by an ancient well, that Jesus reveals himself as the Messiah in a clear and direct way. This isn't just a beautiful parable that we read and interpret symbolically. This really happened in a real place with real people, and the impact of this conversation was so great that the woman dropped her water jar and ran to tell the whole town. Now you must be wondering, but where exactly is this well? Has it been preserved? Does it still really exist, or is it just a legend passed down through generations? Let me tell you something that will make your heart race. Jacob's well is in the city of Nablus, in Palestine, which in antiquity was known as Shechem. And no, it's not abandoned in some field exposed to time and oblivion. It's protected, guarded like a sacred treasure inside a crypt beneath the Greek Orthodox Church of St. Photius the Great. This revelation changes everything, doesn't it? Because it means that generations of people throughout the centuries recognized the importance of that place and did everything to preserve it. Imagine the scene with me. You arrive at this ancient church, its stone walls weathered by time, Byzantine icons gleaming in the candlelight, the scent of incense in the air. You cross the main sanctuary and then begin to descend, step by step, narrow stone staircases that have been trodden by thousands of pilgrims before you. The temperature drops, the air becomes denser, more humid. Natural light becomes scarce, replaced by lamps that create dancing shadows on the walls. And then you reach the crypt. Absolute silence. And there it is. The well, the same hole carved into the solid rock 4,000 years ago by the hands of Jacob, the patriarch who wrestled with God and had his name changed to Israel. Can you feel the weight of this moment? It's not a modern reconstruction. It's not a symbolic memorial. It's the original, authentic well, with its circular mouth of smooth stone polished by countless hands over millennia. And the most incredible thing is that this place is alive. Every day, people from all over the world descend those stairs. Orthodox Christians, Catholics, Protestants, curious onlookers, historians, archaeologists, people of all ages and nationalities, making a journey that is both historical and profoundly spiritual. They touch the stones, drink the water, pray, cry, feel the presence of something much greater than themselves. This is one of the rare places where the biblical past and the present meet in such a tangible way that you can no longer separate one from the other. Comment below, "I want to visit this place." But wait, the story gets even more impressive when we talk about the numbers, because when you're there in the crypt, looking at the mouth of the well, you only see the surface. What you can't immediately see is the abyss that opens up beneath that circular opening. Jacob's well is 41 meters deep. Let me repeat that in a way you can visualize. 41 meters. That's equivalent to a 13-story building. It's deeper than an Olympic swimming pool, stacked 20 times. If you throw a coin from up there, it will take almost 3 seconds to hit the bottom. 3 seconds of free fall into the earth. Now stop and think about the impact of this information. This well was dug 4,000 years ago. There were no drilling machines, no dynamite, no technology whatsoever. It was just men, bronze and iron tools, and a supernatural determination. They dug meter by meter, blow by blow, piercing through solid limestone. And why? Because water was life. Water was survival. Water determined where you could pitch your tents, raise your family, establish your future. Jacob knew this. He wasn't just digging a hole. He was securing a legacy for generations. He was creating a meeting point, a place for important decisions, a landmark that would endure for millennia. And there's a technical detail that still impresses modern engineers today. The depth ensures that the well reaches the deepest and most stable water tables in the region. This means fresh water all year round, even during the driest and most scorching summers in Palestine. The men of that time had no scientific knowledge of geology or hydrology, but they possessed a practical wisdom that bordered on the inexplicable. They knew exactly where to dig, how far to go, how to shape the walls to prevent collapses. Every meter of that well represents sweat, blood, faith, and a deep connection to the land they considered promised by God. And when you consider that Jesus chose this exact place, this ancient masterpiece of engineering to reveal eternal truths, the journey takes on even greater meaning. It wasn't by chance, it was purpose. And then comes the revelation that will send shivers down your spine. After 41 meters of depth, After 4,000 years since it was dug, after wars, earthquakes, invasions, destruction, and reconstruction, do you know what still exists at the bottom of that well? Water. Fresh, clean, drinkable water. The same water that quenched Jacob's thirst when he arrived, tired, from his journey. The same water that Jesus asked the Samaritan woman for on that scorching midday. The same water that has served countless generations of shepherds, travelers, pilgrims, and families throughout millennia. It is still there, gushing, alive, fulfilling the purpose for which that well was created. This is not poetry. It's not a metaphor. It's physical and tangible reality. The well reaches aquifers so deep and stable that even during the region's most intense droughts, water remains present. Geologists who have studied the site explain that this depth guarantees access to underground springs that are constantly fed by infiltration systems that traverse kilometers of soil and rock. It's a natural phenomenon, of course, but when you're there, when you see that crystal clear water sparkling down there, illuminated by the dim light of candles, it's impossible not to feel that something bigger is happening. The monks who care for the church allow visitors to drink that water. They lower a bucket attached to a long rope, throw it down to the bottom, wait to hear the sound of the water breaking in the profound silence of the crypt, and pull it back up. And then you can drink. You can put to your lips the same water that has traversed centuries of human history. Think of the emotional impact of that. Think of the transformation that happens within you when you realize you are physically, literally, connected to people who lived thousands of years ago. The continuity is real. The bridge between past and present is not just in memory or sacred texts. It's there, flowing, refreshing, impossible to deny, and there's something even deeper in all of this. Jesus spoke about living water in that very place. He contrasted the water from the well, which quenches thirst temporarily, with a spiritual water that satisfies forever. And the fact that the physical water never dried up becomes a living metaphor for what he was offering, the inner workings of eternity revealed in an ordinary well. But the well doesn't exist in isolation in time and space. It's protected by literal layers of history that have been built, destroyed, and rebuilt over the centuries. The Greek Orthodox Church that houses the well today is a work of art in itself, a living testament to faith and resilience. When you enter that sanctuary, you are immediately enveloped by an atmosphere that blends the sacred with the ancestral. The walls are decorated with Byzantine mosaics, dating back centuries, small pieces of colored stone forming images of saints, angels, and biblical scenes. Each mosaic was placed there by hand, by artisans who believed they were creating something eternal, something that would speak to future generations. The Orthodox icons hanging on the walls have that characteristic golden sheen, painted with techniques dating back to the early centuries of Christianity. They are not just decorations, they are windows to the divine, as the Orthodox like to say. And the light that enters through the small windows creates a play of shadows and light that transforms the environment into something almost dreamlike. You feel you are in a place where time works differently, where past and present coexist without conflict. But here's a detail that few know, and that shows the incredible resilience of this place. The structure you see today is not the original. This church was destroyed and rebuilt multiple times. During the Crusades, it was attacked and damaged. Violent earthquakes in the region cracked walls and brought down roofs. Invasions, religious conflicts, wars between empires, all of this left its mark. And yet, generation after generation, communities of believers returned and rebuilt. They picked up the fallen stones, cleared the rubble, and raised those walls again. Why? Because what lay beneath was non-negotiable. The well needed to be protected. The memory needed to be preserved. Each stone in that church tells a story of difficult decisions of people who chose to invest resources, time, and lives to ensure that place would not be forgotten. And when you descend those stairs toward the crypt, you are literally descending through layers of human history, each representing a different era, a different struggle, a different victory. And you might be thinking, okay, the story is beautiful, the place is impressive, but how can we be sure that this is really the well where it all happened? Isn't it just a tradition passed down without any real basis? Let me show you why historians, archaeologists, and experts worldwide agree that this is without a doubt the authentic well. The evidence is so solid that it would be impossible to dispute without ignoring decades of serious academic research. First, we have extremely old written records. A pilgrim named Egeria who traveled through the Holy Land in the 4th century, wrote a detailed diary of her journey, and she specifically mentions Jacob's well, describing its location, its depth, and the church that was already being built over it at that time. This means that only 300 years after Jesus, the site was already recognized and venerated as authentic. And it wasn't an obscure secret. It was public knowledge among the Christian communities of the region. Furthermore, archaeological excavations around the area have revealed ruins from the Byzantine period that perfectly corroborate the descriptions in ancient texts. Mosaic floors, foundations of earlier churches, coins from the period, and precisely dated ceramics have been found. Everything points to a site of continuous religious importance since the first centuries of Christianity. And there's more. The geographical location itself matches the biblical descriptions exactly. The well is located between Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal, near the ancient city of Shechem, exactly where the texts say it should be. Archaeologists have also confirmed that the excavation technique used in the well is consistent with methods from the patriarchal period when Jacob is believed to have lived. The limestone of the region, the circular shape of the opening, the strategic depth to reach stable water tables all indicate planning and execution from a specific era. It is impossible to fake these characteristics. They are authentic marks of millennia of work. And when you put all these elements together, the evidence becomes overwhelming. This is not a place based solely on blind faith. It is a place where faith and science meet and confirm each other, creating a solid bridge between belief and verifiable historical reality. But it's one thing to talk about history, archaeology, and scientific evidence. It's quite another to hear what happens to people when they actually get there. Because Jacob's Well isn't just a cold, distant archaeological site. It's a place that provokes profound transformations in those who visit it, and the accounts are so intense, so emotionally charged, that it's impossible to ignore them. People from all over the world, of all ages, cultures, and backgrounds, describe very similar experiences when they descend those stairs and stand before the well. Some people cry. They simply break down in tears upon touching the ancient stones, realizing they are literally in the same place where Jesus stood. A Brazilian pilgrim reported feeling his legs weaken when the monk brought the bucket of water from the bottom of the well. He said it was as if time had stopped, as if all the generations that had passed through there were present at that moment. Another visitor, a history professor from the United States, said she had always been skeptical about pilgrimage sites, but something changed within her when she drank that water. She described it as an inexplicable feeling of connection, something that reason couldn't fully process. And it's not just devout Christians who report these experiences. Historians, journalists, even people without a specific religious affiliation speak of a different energy in the place. A photographer who visited the well for a documentary said he had to leave the crypt for a few minutes because he felt emotionally overwhelmed. He didn't expect that. He thought he was just going to capture beautiful images, but ended up experiencing something he admits he can't explain. The stones seem to carry memories. The silence down there has weight. The water reflects more than just light. There are also stories of moments of deep prayer where people found answers to questions they had carried for years. Important life decisions were made there. Relationships were healed. Forgiveness occurred. And look, I know this may sound exaggerated, almost too mystical, but there are dozens, hundreds of consistent testimonies over the years. Something is happening in that place that goes beyond the physical and the historical. So why does all this matter to you now, living your life in the 21st century, dealing with your issues, your challenges, your searches? Because there is a symbolism here that goes far beyond religious tourism or historical curiosity. The fact that that well continues to gush water after 4,000 years is not just an impressive geological curiosity. It is a living message about something much greater. Jesus chose that specific place, that specific moment, to make one of the most profound statements of his entire ministry. He was sitting there, tired, thirsty, completely human, and he used the physical water of that well as a bridge to speak of a much deeper thirst that we all carry. The Samaritan woman had come to the well to draw water during the hottest part of the day, avoiding other people, carrying the weight of her choices, her reputation, her loneliness, and Jesus offered her something she didn't even know she was looking for: water that not only quenches a parched throat, but fills the existential void, that hole we try to plug with relationships, achievements, distractions, anything that promises meaning. And the hidden truth that Jesus revealed that day remains as relevant now as it was 2,000 years ago. Because human nature hasn't changed, our spiritual thirst hasn't diminished. If anything, it has increased in a world that is increasingly fragmented and devoid of real purpose. The physical well continues to function, fulfilling its original purpose, and this is a perfect metaphor for what Jesus offered. The living water he spoke of is not a vague and distant promise. It's not something that might work for some people in some situations. It's a constant, inexhaustible source that remains available regardless of how much time passes, how many changes happen in the world, or how complicated your life is. Just as you can descend into that crypt today and drink from the same water that has served countless generations, you can access that spiritual water now, at this moment, exactly where you are. And here's the mindset shift that many people miss. It's not about external religiosity, empty rituals, or following meaningless rules. It's about recognizing that there's a real thirst within you, and that trying to quench it with substitutes will never truly work. It's curious how, even after traversing so many layers of this ancient history, something still pulsates beneath it, like a subterranean echo that insists on calling to us. Because when we think of the image of that forgotten well in the desert, surviving kings, empires, disputes, and entire centuries of silence, we realize that it's not just archaeology. It's almost a living reminder that certain springs never run dry. And no matter how much time passes or how many hasty decisions have been made around it, the water remains there, guarding a hidden truth that always escapes those who only observe the surface. The strangest thing is that the more I reflect on this, the more it seems that the well isn't just in a physical place. It also exists within each person, who tries to understand their own shortcomings, fears, and gaps. And it is precisely here that everything becomes even more provocative, because we are not just talking about an ancient symbol, but about something that touches on how you live, react, and carry the invisible marks of your own journey. There are those who spend their entire lives trying to quench their thirst with shallow puddles, thinking that any quick distraction will solve it, but we know it doesn't. The thirst returns. It always returns. And that is why this ancient well continues to be such an impactful metaphor. It reminds us that depth matters, that what truly sustains us is not found in haste, but in the patience to dig, to persist, to seek what is hidden. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because there is something almost uncomfortable in this perception. The realization that sometimes the water is there, but the person doesn't approach it, as if you were afraid of what you might find, reflected in that silent mirror. And perhaps that's the great revelation behind it all. It's not the well that changes, it's us. We are the ones who carry tensions, contradictions, invisible expectations. We are the ones who decide how close we get to our own truth. And when you understand that, you begin to realize that the question that really matters isn't how deep is the well, but how deep are you willing to go? Because if a well dug 4 millennia ago still gushes fresh water, then imagine what the truths you avoid can do when they are finally faced. That's when the transformation begins to take shape. Silent, intense, almost like an ancient whisper calling your name. And while that call echoes, there's yet another layer to this story that needs to be unfolded. A layer that completely changes how we interpret this thirst that insists on accompanying every step. And if you've made it this far, you can sense that something about this topic has resonated with you. And that's precisely why it's worth keeping this exchange alive. If this kind of conversation adds to your understanding, provokes you, or simply makes you see details that previously went unnoticed, subscribe to the channel. That way you'll continue receiving content that moves in the same direction, with the same depth that we've built together so far. And of course, leave a like, not as an automatic ritual, but as a simple way to show that this connection made sense to you. Oh, and so I know you stayed. Until the end, comment, "This message was for me." It's always special to see who truly completes the entire journey. And since you're here, you don't have to stop now. There's a video over there that complements this topic perfectly. Click on it and continue watching.